Bryan Fischer, anti-gay Bryan Fischer from the American Family Association. He will be here Monday to discuss these Supreme Court rulings. I will certainly ask him, did he cry when he heard about the rulings? I will ask him that on Monday. I will ask him, does he realize he will be looked back at in the future as someone who, in their opposition to marriage equality, was equivalent to those who opposed racial integration or any of the other things we've talked about. But that's not what I want to talk to you about today. That's for Monday. Today, he said, the Supreme Court has actually done something discriminatory to those who are anti-gay activists by their decision. Take a listen to what Bryan Fischer had to say.
But it could be for DOMA is...
Well, actually, let me cue this properly because I don't want you to miss the key part of this entire thing. Okay, here we go.
If they were a mean-spirited human being that wanted to relegate certain human beings to lower-tier, second-class steerage status on the ship of state. But that's exactly what they've done to us, Matt, it seems to me. They have identified us as second-class citizens, mean-spirited, homophobic bigots who ought to be shunned from polite society. It seems to me they've done to us exactly what they were falsely accusing us of doing to homosexuals.
And how dare 5 people in a position like these individuals paint that kind of a brush across all of America? But that's what they did.
All right, let's analyze what's going on here. First of all, they seem to be taking issue with the magnitude of a decision that 5 of the 9 Supreme Court justices were able to make. It's interesting because when the Supreme Court pretty recently ruled for the first time that the Constitution, that the Second Amendment does provide for the individual right to bear arms, do you remember what the decision was there, Lewis? It was a 5-4 decision.
Right.
5 individuals also made a decision of significant magnitude. I don't think that Bryan Fischer and his buddies who appear on his radio show were so upset then. Number 2, Bryan Fischer talks about mean-spirited, homophobic bigots who ought to be shunned from polite society. I don't think he realizes who that would shun from society, and it's mostly Bryan Fischer and his friends.
Yeah, I mean, well, there is a difference between people like Bryan Fischer and people like the Westboro Baptist Church.
Oh, there's a difference, okay.
You have to at least acknowledge that as long as Bryan Fischer doesn't walk around yelling "die you fags," that we can at least make that distinction.
He is not willing to openly use those terms in public, is all we can say. Right? That's the point you're making.
We can say that, yeah.
The public way in which he presents his anti-gay bigotry is less harsh, potentially, than the way
it's still, of course, very damaging.
Right.
I'm aware of this.
It's just different in that sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's the distinction he's trying to make. Is it, Natan?
I don't think he's trying to make any logical distinctions of any kind. I mean, overall, I do want to say one thing about him talking about 5 justices deciding.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about the Voting Rights Act when he started that sentence. I mean, honestly, what happened in this decision, and if you read some of it, you can see Justice Kennedy, who half the time it goes totally off the deep end and half the time is with the liberals correctly, like in this case. When he talks about DOMA, he basically says, it's not about the motivations of the politicians that passed it. The only reason, if you deductively reason your way out of what the law says, is the only reason to pass this law is to demean the quality and the rights of gay people.
Right.
So it's not a question of whether Bill Clinton or whether the Republicans or the Democrats have anything against homosexuality. It's what's on the page. What's on the page has that as its only logical purpose.
Correct. And it was Matt Staver from Liberty Counsel who made the point about the 5 justices. So there it is. Glenn Beck, Rand Paul, Louis Gohmert, Bryan Fischer, all completely apoplectic over this Supreme Court set of decisions.
Which is great. Anytime they're upset, good things are happening.